Hey everybody. So I have this technique that I use a lot of times when I'm composing a piece of music or writing a song. And I thought it would make a great exercise to help you experiment and to explore a simple chord progression and all the things that you can do with it. And so I have a backing track all keyed up. It's just a simple little drum loop and a little bass line that moves from A to G. So we're going to be in the key of G, but it's kind of a Dorian mode. So we're going to start on the A minor, go to the G. Here's what we're going to start out with. But here's the initial chord progression, and it sounds like this. So in that first example, that's just our bass chord progression. So think of that as like the main theme. But as we're playing along, we could experiment with different ways to strum and other techniques to pull even more out of that simple chord progression. So in this example, we're going to start in that bass chord progression, but then we're going to move into a different strumming pattern, just kind of letting it ring out so we can pull even more out of it. And these exercises will help you, if you do them enough, not to try to overcomplicate all your chord progressions. You can do a lot with just two chords. So here's the second example. All right, so as you can see, that gave a different feel to that, added a little bit more interest to that chord progression. But in this next example, instead of just changing how we strum, we're going to go from that bass chord progression, and then we're going to move it into a riff. And by moving it into a riff, it should add a lot more interest to this two-chord chord progression. Let's check it out. And you can see in that example, that completely changed that chord progression. It made it a whole lot more dynamic, added a whole lot more interest. And so as you go through your little two-chord chord progressions or three-chord chord progressions, whatever you come up with, and practice as many different ways as you can, you'll start to be able to add a lot more interest to your songs without throwing more and more chords at it, and without having to change, your tempo of your songs or the drum beats or the bass lines or anything. And this is a real helpful technique. So if you ever get stuck with writer's block, you can apply this exercise, and hopefully that will help get you over the hump. And so as you mix and match these different types of techniques, then you can add a whole lot more interest to your chord progressions. So let's try going through in this last example, and I'll just kind of put the whole thing together, and you can hear how it sounds when you're doing multiple different techniques with your two-chord chord progression. right, everybody. I hope you found that helpful. Write your little progressions and try to pull out as many different feelings and emotions as you can in those little chord progressions, and you can definitely start to be more creative and you can stretch those further. I mean, especially with the riff section, I mean, you could probably come up with 5, 6, 7 different riff sections in that same chord progression. So you can add a lot of interest there. But I hope you guys found this video useful. This is Dale with the 440 Club. Please give me a like, a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.